Hi everyone, it's Lynn from the Swirlydoos Education Design Team, and I am working with September's kit, which has ice resin in it, and some really cool papers and some bezels and some flowers and some really fun stuff. I'm going to tell you that I have probably never been more intimidated by a kit than I was this one. This little stuff right here scared the bejeebers out of me. But unlike most people, I couldn't just leave it alone and not play with it. I had to play with it. So this is actually my creation and what I came up with. And all of my flowers and my leaves have ice resin on them. Because really what happened was once I started using the ice resin, I couldn't stop. I must have made up 3 batches of it because I said, I wonder what would happen if I did this. And I wonder how it would work on these. So basically this is the Kaiser flower that comes in the kit. And then I made some flowers using the papers that come in the kit and a spellbinder's die. And these other little ones are little petaloo flowers, some of them in their natural state, other ones I colored. And then the leaves are also paper that comes in the kit that has ice resin on it. And I made a little charm thing here that says cherish that has some of the little pieces parts that are in the little tiny bottle. Don't think that that's just a little tiny bottle. There's actually yummy little goodie things in there, as you can see here, that you can put in your bezel and then cover with the ice resin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I made the spellbinder flower and then covered it with ice resin. So I have cut my spellbinder die out on the vellum paper, and so we're just going to coil it around and create the flower. I have my flower all rolled, so I'm just going to put a little spot of glue on the little pad, and there I have my little flower. Okay, it's kind of hard to see because it is out of vellum, but there she is. So now that I have that made, I'm just going to kind of let that sit aside for a second and dry, and right now we're going to talk a little bit about the ice resin and what I discovered. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to want to do when you use your ice resin is this little cover that's here is not there as you saw when you got it. It's actually in here, so you need to pop that out of there. And then what you're going to do when you use this is you're going to cut the ends off, the tips of the ice resin off, and then holding it between your fingers like this, fingers on both sides, thumbs at the top, you're going to push down on this and the ice resin will come out in equal parts. Now, in researching how to use this, the biggest thing that I saw in my research was that one of these is thicker and denser than the other. So what you need to do is now you need to stir these and mix these together. And kind of fold it as if you were folding egg whites. And at first it will get kind of milky looking. And then afterwards it will clear right out. And do it kind of slowly so you don't fill it with tons of air bubbles. And you will need to do this for 2 minutes. That was also another thing that I saw that everybody talked about was the mixing time on these 2 products together is 2 minutes. So we're just going to keep folding it and mixing it. We want to put the cover back on our little tubey thing here. And you will notice that on the cover here there's a flat side and a rounded side. That's because there's a flat side to one of the tubes and a rounded side. So I just kind of set that on the table and push hard to put the covers in there, and then that way it will keep it from drying up so that you can store it. Okay, so I have my resin all mixed. I have my flower made. I'm also going to use one of the Kaiser flowers that comes in the kits. I'm going to cut the wire off the back of it and open the flower up a little bit so that it's got some real distinguishable petals, because I want to get the resin down in there. And then what I did was I took a piece of kitchen trash bag. In the videos I watched, they used big pieces, but I don't have the space to lay out a big piece. So we're going to place our flowers on the trash bag. And in your kit came this little spongy thing, which this is great when you're working on the papers or anything like that. But when it came to getting the resin down into the flowers, what I did was I just went and bought some old paintbrushes, and that's what I'm going to use to get the mixture down in here. So I'm going to clear off my popsicle stick, and I just lay this on the plastic because when it does dry, you can just pick it up and use it again. After you use your paintbrush, however, it will no longer be usable again. So you kind of just have to throw it away, because I didn't find anywhere where you can clean this stuff. So I'm going to sop up some of the resin, and I'm just going to get it in here. Another little handy dandy tool that I found was a pair of tweezers, because you really don't want to touch this ice resin with your bare hands. So I'm just going to wad this ice resin in here. And the cool thing that happens to this vellum flower is it becomes transparent. It is so beautiful. And we want to get both the front and the back side of it. And then after you're done using your tweezers, you're going to want to make sure that you clean them off and get this ice resin off of them, so that you don't ruin your tweezers. All right, so there we have it. There's my ice resin flower. Another thing I'm going to suggest is, if you're anything like me, this ice resin takes a really, 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 really long time to dry. So if you're the type of person that has to continue to kind of touch and play with stuff after you've done it, I suggest you do this at night and let it dry overnight while you're sleeping, so that you'll leave it alone. Because can I tell you, I did this first thing in the morning, and it was torture to me all day long not to be able to play with these. All right, so we have the big flower, and once again, I'm just kind of getting that resin all in the flower. Kind of drizzling it all over the flower. Now this stuff is sticky, so something that's really cool that we're going to do with this, if you have glitter or anything like that, what I did was I sprinkled it on there, and it gave the flowers just a little added extra bling. All right, so I've got my flower all covered. Let's get the back side of it too. All right, there she be. Now, one thing I do want to make sure that was when I finished using my little measuring cup here, that I kind of cleaned it all out, not leaving any excess. All right, so I'm going to use art glitter, vintage glitter glass, but any glitter that you have is going to work sufficiently. And I'm just going to take it and gently sprinkle it over top of my flowers, just to give them an extra bling. On the leaves that I created, I actually have this wonderful bag of mica that a friend gave me, and I sprinkled that over the paper. But whatever you do, it's going to stick to it when it dries. So now you're going to set this aside, and it's going to take 6 to 10 hours to dry and totally set up. But here's a petaloo flower that I did, and I just used the same technique using the tweezers, and it's so cool because it's hard as a rock. Oh my Lord. All right, make sure you clean your tweezers off, inside and out. And there you have it. That is how I made my flowers that are on my box. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope I've kind of debunked it so that you can just hop right in and work with it, and don't have to deal with the fear factor that I had. Seriously, after I did one of these flowers, I must have made up 3 different mixtures and kept trying different things because it really was so much fun after I got going. So there you go. I hope you folks have a wonderful day and have enjoyed my tutorial on ice resin.